you were 1 year old, and
No, I was 11.
can you remember?
Yes, I do. In North Wildwood.
Tell us about what you remember.
Well, I remember we lived across the street from the bay. And of course, the bay came over and flooded our yard. And we had a little chicken coop and little chickens.
Were you in the
And they
house?
all blew away.
Oh,
My brother and I were crying because we were losing our chickens. And there was 3 big trees on the lot behind us that flew over into our yard. And all the boats were floating around in our yard.
yeah, this was a major storm. This
Yeah.
thing is happening, D-Day has happened. You know, they're fighting across Europe, I think in the Pacific. They're about to go into Tinian. You know, that's what's happening. Let's see if I can read these things as I'm going.
Now, Marlene, are you talking about where you live right now?
No, North Wildwood.
Oh, North Wildwood,
On
okay.
Spruce Avenue, near where Saber's restaurant used to be.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Boy, you were caught right there between the inlet and
The back and the front.
the bay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And was there water in the streets then?
Oh, my gosh. The boats goes across the street and it was deep, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't come in our house, but it came.
A lot of
close.
those houses were built up even in those
We
days.
had 4 steps
Yeah,
to get in,
I'm thinking as you look through Anglesey, as you drive through there,
yeah.
some of the real old places, you know, they made them a little bit bigger,
Mhm.
a little higher and stuff.
married a younger woman.
Anybody have any questions on that? Yes.
Marlene, how much warning did you have?
I don't remember that we did get much warning at all.
I had somebody speaking and say they hadn't really even heard the word hurricane.
But the
You run
eye
whether
came
you're
right
out
over
or
us.
not in advance of the storm's arrival, and with the others as well. You wonder, now you have people that projected out, you know, a month and a half, and are all wrong, but
I had pulled what I cut out of here. Does anybody remember Sir Patrick Spens, the ballad? It's an old English ballad, but the king calls to Sir Patrick Spens, who is the best sailor who ever sailed the sea, and says, you know, I want you to take my daughter to her wedding over in Denmark. And Sir Patrick Spens says, no, 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 I don't want to go. It's a bad time. And they say, you got to go. And there's a line in there, one of his sailors says, this is not a good idea. I saw the old moon in the new moon's arms. And apparently that's, you know, storm sign. And of course, I think they read the weather better than we do, but they're really not, they didn't have the warnings that we had, and they probably should have. This one, go to the next slide. This was a coal barge that was coming down the coast that got blown onto the beach here. There were 35 guys onto this. They were getting ready to abandon ship, but they're in the surf, maybe 100 yards out. But your chances of surviving 100 yards in that kind of a thing, not real good. So the Coast Guard went out, or the lifesavers went out, and they fired lines to it. And they came down through lines and they rescued like 30-some people. But I think, go ahead to the next one, because here's the picture of a postcard of it. You know, we're probably talking about 500-foot ship. And that was not the only one. The USS Warrington, a U.S. Destroyer, 248 people aboard, got swamped by 70-foot seas off of about 600 miles off of Florida. Nobody survived. There were a couple other storms where they got into lifeboats. 60 guys got into lifeboats, 30 survived. This was a really killer storm that came all up and down the coast. It wasn't just like it was hitting here. Let's see. I got a quote here. Elwood Barrett, not from here, but was on leave from the war, and he described, we saw a big wave go over the island and across to the mainland, taking what it took. A single wave, just one big wave. I think the crest past our house was 8 or 9 feet high. You could see it coming from way out, and it came at one shot. When the wave got to the mainland, it turned around and came back. I think at the time, people said that the return wave did even more damage. It just sucked everything out. The boats in the bay were found up on the beach. In Stone Harbor, Mayor Biggs was the mayor at the time, and he's, I think, like 88, sort of where you're talking about growing up, and he says he saw a chunk of the boardwalk come 50 feet into the air and land on First Avenue. And I'm like, that sounds a little exaggerated. But Bill Doherty always used to talk about at the back of their house, there was a big chunk of the boardwalk that had been there from the 44 storm. He, of course, wasn't there for the 44 storm. He was in South Pacific. Go on a little bit. Here's the, here's what it looks like. I'm thinking about, this might have been in the 20s. Go ahead. But I mean, you saw, okay, May of 41, you've got the beautiful boardwalk. Everything is there. Just that, you know, look how the road sort of peters out. Here's the, what's the name houses? The courts. Yes. Go to the next. Let's see. Now, here's in 44. One of the really neat things that the U.S. government did was they sent out planes after each of these storms. So I think in 1920, 1933, 1944, and in, I think in April, or even in late March of 62. So you can find online these aerial shots. And you can start to see some of the damage. Of course, here, the whole boardwalk is gone. Go ahead through. Again. Back up one. Just in 44, also notice, of course, the how empty the island was.
Yeah.
You know, I've never stopped and counted, but it'd be interesting to see how many houses, probably a third of the number of houses we have today. Less? Less. Okay, I'm not sure what this wreck is, but go ahead. Here's your boardwalk. I gather the waves came under it, the water came under it and lifted it up. And it's now down to go this way, and it just lifts it right up. Go ahead. Look at the wreckage here. Yeah, this is amazing that it's stands. Well, go ahead. We also see something else going on. Here's I think this is the paper. Sorry we're late. First time in 30 years that we've missed our deadline. They didn't have power to print. Go ahead. Here's more of this. I don't know what particularly this is, but because it was up in all these pilings, you know, I think the front of it was on the boardwalk, and then the boardwalk just disappeared.
That's the side of it.
Yeah. Anybody know who this is? Because we have two pictures of her.
A brave lady,
Well, it's after the storm.
still brave.
Yeah. It wasn't like the March storm when it was cold. You know, this was September.
So survive.
That's what I would think.
That is the swimming.
Jen, 96.
Donnie Weir.
This,
Huh?
The lady.
Dottie Weir?
who?
Is it?
Oh, is it?
She was head of the Civic Club, Dottie Weir.
Is that-
Let's take one more. Okay. Another? Because we have another picture of her.
Oh, my goodness.
See, I have a picture of my mother playing with that cash register.
You do have a picture of that?
It was right at the end of our street. Yeah, she's pushing on the button.
Anything from it?
I guess she got there too late.
Yeah, I don't. Dottie Weir.
No, loud.
Okay. But again, look at the, back up the, you know, the pilings that this is left from. You know, well, they say that in storms, it's really interesting what gets left.
Did Dottie Weir smoke?
Yes.
Did Dottie Weir smoke? Yes, she did. Oh, yeah, it's right here.
Ah.
In her hand. Yeah.
Didn't everybody in 1944?
Exactly.
I wonder what the numbers were. Anyway, go ahead. Here's Mayor Biggs. 50 feet in the air, carried to the real of Jurgens Cottage on First. Does anybody know where Jurgens was?
First step.
First and 88? Oh, First and 88, okay. Okay. And electricity is off until Saturday midnight. And of course, this was lucky because this occurred after Labor Day. So most of the people, in those days, people went home. Remember? And you didn't really come back until the next year. You lock up your cottage and go home. So there weren't a ton of people that were stuck on the island for this. One of the curious things about this particular storm was that it did hardly any damage beyond First Avenue. And we know that the Pebbles was still standing. The Bill Doherty's thing, which was a block down, was still standing. The big old ones, it seems to me that, stayed. But it really tore apart the.
And the Nautilus was still standing, remember?
Yeah, I think we got one of those. Go ahead. Yeah, here's again. I don't know what the angle of this is. This is probably the entrance to the boardwalk. Yeah. Okay. Look at all the pilings. Now, I don't know what that one is for, but go ahead. Also, it did some damage in the bay. Look at the angle of the house. And the boats and all of the stuff that was in it. Go ahead. I wonder where this is. Somebody, Grant, you're good.
That was J&J Marina when I was a little boy with the steps. So that would be where the Bermuda Club is now, right across from
John Roberson's house right there.
Yeah, it's right
Which
across
one?
from Bud's Market.
The white one.
This is John's?
Yeah, it's Roberson's.
John Roberson's house? Oh, the white one?
Really?
I think so.
I don't know, for some reason I always thought he faced the
Oh,
street.
yeah, I see.
Well, it does, it did, it did. Yeah,
Oh, there's a street in there?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the marina off to the right, that's John Roberson's house, my grandparents were like,
This is Jim Piccolo.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, this is third,
That's on
83rd. 83rd.
yeah, that's the third.
Where's Bud's Market?
Eighty-third.
Bud's Market, I think, would be right behind this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Go ahead. Just some more. This is one of the ones you don't want to ride out. Go ahead. Okay. This is kind of interesting today. They rebuilt the Beach Patrol Station, 14.8.
Just, that's dropping it that.
Look who bid on it. Go back one, please. Look who bid on it.
John Hand?
Yeah.
Ralph
Ralph
Evans.
Evans? Oh,
Clarence Bradshaw, George Harris,
Yeah.
Wayne Stagg.
Well, this is for the plumbing.
Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah.
But that's who was.
Smith.
Yeah.
Just
I thought the numbers were, but of course, it's all relative. Yeah. So go ahead. Now here's the Nautilus. And I had never seen it like this, but this was the Nautilus on the boardwalk
It is before the storm.
before the storm.
Before 66.
Oceanfront apartments directly on the boardwalk, 4 rooms, 2 of which are used as bedrooms and baths. Cool, clean, $100 to $180 a month. Remember when everybody used to come down for a month or the summer?
The whole summer.
The whole summer. Yeah.
And the husbands would go back to the city to work.
Yes, yeah. I grew up, we never did the whole summer, but we did 6 weeks of it. And yeah, my dad would come down for 2 weeks and then every Friday night he'd come in and leave on Sunday, Monday morning. Okay, so this was on the boardwalk during that storm. Go ahead, next one. Here it is in September of '44. almost ruined.
The cupola went off.
Cupola, I don't know that it was blown off, took it off, whatever, but it's off. But it survived. Okay, go ahead. And then we come to our favorite storm, the Ash Wednesday storm. March 7th, 8th, and 9th. One of the things a whole bunch of the books point out is that a hurricane can come through in 8 hours. You know, the eye can come across, they come across at 25 miles an hour, you know, unless it's a real slow one. But it can be in, you know, blow everything up at noon, and by 8 o'clock at night, the sun is out again. Not here. 7, 8, 9. As some people here know. Go ahead. I don't know that this is, I pulled this off of Google. So I don't know that it's particularly this. But I wanted to do a little bit of coverage on the size of this storm and the extent of it. The storm drove the water up the Delaware Bay, pushed the Schuylkill backwards. Think about that. Pushing the Schuylkill backwards, so it's overflowing below the dam. You know, I read an account when you put in the Ash Wednesday storm. I get this piece from, he had been a young guy, he was a 17-year-old trying to be a meteorologist in Shenandoah Valley. And he's talking about, he's measuring the snow, he knows it's a big snow coming. And he goes to bed and he thinks, okay, I'll wake up and it'll be 10 or 12 inches. And he wakes up and he can't see out. No, this is Shenandoah. No. I don't know that it snowed here. But anyway, he's talking about that, and you know, Greyhound buses were stuck. People would go out and take people into their homes and stuff like that. Down in Miami, it was 31 degrees. March 5th, 6th. In Miami, you know, so this was a huge storm. Let's see, Delaware Bay started on Monday night, right?
I think so. Do you remember what day of the week it was?
Look it up.
I thought, yeah, I don't know, but I was there, but I don't remember what day. Yeah.
This storm did not have
Ash Wednesday.
the huge high
I'd
tides
say it started.
that a couple of the other ones. It didn't have the storm surge. What it had was the constant thing. If you think about what the storm just did on Mother's Day, how many feet of sand did it take out of a beach? 3 feet? Was that like 1.5 days? This is, you know, this was 3 full days of constant pounding of the storm. Of course, you know, one of the big things was that the meteorologist called for rain and a little bit of cold. You know, that's what they said. Nobody apparently knew that it was happening. You know, even while it was happening.
No.
You know, until it got bad. You know, and then people was sort of new and stuff. And we'll hear from some of the people there. Snow Sherm, Assateague. I don't know. Anybody ever read the book Misty about the pony? Misty had been made into a book and a movie at that point. So she's on Assateague. She might be drowning. They brought her into the house. So she spent the storm in the house. And then right after that delivered a foal that became another book, and they named the foal Stormy instead of Misty. There's another little piece on the Assateague thing. Assateague was about to be sold into 5,000 lots for houses. And then the storm hit, and everybody was like, and it wound up becoming a national seashore. So maybe something good came out of that. Apparently there were fires in a bunch of towns. I think here it was supposedly only one fire.
I don't know.
I have a
Do you remember, Sue?
There's a lot of fires in
Mary's
North
letter
Wildwood.
right now would be good.
North Wildwood,
Wildwood.
West Wildwood lost 90 of 50 of 500 homes floated away. I mean, as bad as it was for Stone Harbor almost got off easy compared to some of these places. Sea Isle got clobbered. Long Beach Island really got clobbered. Harvey Cedars, Long Beach Island was cut five places. And there's a whole bunch of stories in this book particularly about that. So what happens when the storm, go to the next, let's see what we've got here. This a destroyer, actually they were towing it. It broke loose from the cable and this washed ashore, I think up in Long Beach maybe, somewhere up the road. But you know, you're talking about a 300 foot boat or so. Huh?
And the weight of it.
And the weight, to get something like this off was, I think, a month's worth of work, and they had to dig a trench, and they had to have all these big tugs and stuff to pull them off. But I mean, that was no problem, because there was nobody on board. Nobody drowned, nobody had to be rescued. I started to say the fires, there was a lot of talk in this about the different fires. Wildwood particularly had a bunch of fires. The gas mains were breaking. And if anything started a light, well, okay, you had all of this water in here. It's March 6th. How many of you go swimming March 6th? Anybody?
Tuesday.
Huh?
That was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
It was a Wednesday.
Okay, the 7th was on Wednesday, yeah. But the winter temperature is talking about 40 degrees, 45 degrees?
Yeah.
They were talking about the firemen were able to work in the water for about 15 minutes. You know, then you start losing the ability to use your hands. Yes, it can start going into your head, so they pull them back and go on. Let's see. There was, and then the high tide, low tide thing. I have never seen too much of this, but Pam and I were at 83rd Street, 2017, one of the January storms. And the water was up about 1.5 feet. So they came, Terry got rescued by the big truck. Yeah, so they brought a big truck and, huh?
Civil defense truck?
Civil defense truck. And they brought us to the, what's the area down there?
The rec center.
The rec center.
Across the street.
Right, and I'm like, we're gonna be stuck here. 4 hours went by and we drove off the island. You know, because the tide went out. You know, the storm was still going on, but the tide went out. Here, going on to the next, let's see what we've got. Here, from what I understand, the tide never really went out. It just kept getting higher.
That's Terry Swicks.
Is that your house?
No.
No.
Now,
Very close, isn't that
That looks like-
Sunset Drive?
Looks like
That's Caps, the double.
go to the next picture.
That's 99th Sunset.
99th and Sunset?
Their house, the first.
Isn't that the shop?
Isn't that the shops? Corner?
That could be, yeah. You're at the shops, you're at the shops looking,
The shop's on the
or
corner.
looking across the 99th Street, yeah.
Go ahead. 624 homes destroyed or damaged in Cape May County. 3,000 damaged in Cape May County. Go ahead. I think in Stone Harbor there were like 17 total losses, 16 or 17 disappeared. My family lived at 103rd Street or had a house at 103rd. The two beachfront places disappeared. It wasn't like there was wreckage. It was like, you know, sand was gone. The second house had been beachfront. Now they did fix it up. Go ahead. 4,000 homes were destroyed up and down the coast. 40,000 were severely damaged. Sometimes with 4 or 5 feet of water in them. It was also something of a killer. I have that written down here somewhere. That there were three fishing vessels apparently went out into the storm. There was no warning not to go out into the storm, and they didn't come back. And I don't even know if they're counting. A really scary story comes from the Delaware Bay, maybe Reed's Beach, somewhere over there. A guy named John Waters loads his wife, his mother, and 5 kids into the car. And they're going to try to get out of there. They got about 50 yards at Stalls. There's a place up on pilings, so he takes his wife first to help the kids, gets her safe, comes back, gets his mother and one of the kids, gets them in, and as he's turning around, the car goes away. The National Guard find it, 2 days later with the 5 kids dead. So, I mean, this was not just a bad property storm, this was a killing storm. Let's see. Weirdly, go ahead a little bit, let's see some of the others. This is like 100th Street, I guess. Look at the bulkhead that we were dependent upon. Look at the double bulkhead, too. I'm not sure which was first or what's, and I don't even know if these things are still down there, buried under everything. Go ahead. This is the Civic. No? Go ahead. Here you go. Here you go. Women's Civic Club. Didn't look too bad from that side again. Next one. Next. And again, you can see this is what we had for protection at that point, which was obviously not enough.
Yeah, that's the tides behind them.
Yeah. Go ahead. This is 103rd, because I remember seeing this. No, it looks like it though, doesn't it?
It looks like it.
Yeah. Look, it just, it just sucked the sand right out from under it.
Yeah.
If it had gone on a little longer, this might have come down.
It's on fire.
Think about them buried in the dunes now.
Yeah.
I don't know which one, we couldn't figure out which one this is, 100th or 88?
That's 101, I think. It's 101st.
101st?
88 is set back.
I guess the top is gone.
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
used to be high like that, you could sit on it.
Yes. Have shade.
But, yeah.
Again. Refrigerators again. Water, 3 days of high touch, go ahead. No. This is from 100 looking back, I think this is the same one we were looking at. Again, all of the junk that was in the water and stuff like that. I wonder, well, you weren't going swimming at that time anyway, but there might have been a lot of debris right out on that beach. Go ahead.
92nd.
I don't know. This is a little bit later. Go ahead. Is this 110?
Yeah.
That's still there.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the one that they took
Change
the
the
movie from
color.
Tom Hanks did. That's still there.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that's 88th Street.
Yeah?
Well, it's not, I don't think it's the Nautilus.
No, go
That
ahead.
would be 88th Street.
Okay, here's the 62. If you come in close on this, you can start to see some of the damage that went on. Go ahead. The point, this was one of my favorite things. It broke through the point, and I can remember going out there for a picnic, and it was my family. I was like 15 or 16 or something, and we crossed with a picnic basket. It was ankle deep. We spent 3 or 4 hours and we come back out. And now I gotta carry my little brother on my shoulder because it's chest deep. And apparently I've heard that people were taking boats through that. That's what Bill Doherty used to tell me. Okay, go ahead. Debris cleared. Go ahead. 2 dead, other feared loss of storm winds, high tide. Red Cross aids in disaster. Fire, rising water plague residents as storm subsides. Next. Apparently, these guys geared up for the storm. Now, I don't know how they did that because nobody else knew. But they called in 300 of their people. And I heard that they had the electric back in 8 to 12 hours. That's what the paper clip.
Not on 87th Street.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Need a place to live?
Mobile homes, it's what I'm saying.
What? Why not? You know, why you rebuild? Go ahead. Stone Harbor rebuilds. There's a story in the Stone Harbor rebuilding. Linda Picanza talks about her dad was called out to a council meeting right in the storm, right in the middle of the storm. That they had 3 or 4 meetings and they immediately ordered bulldozers and trucks and front end loaders.
I think they were one of the first to ever to start their bulkhead back.
Yeah, they started it right. I think on Friday they said there were bulldozers clearing the streets. When people still couldn't get in 96th Street, you know, I don't know how long did that take? Huh?
And they get the bulldozers in.
Oh, over Wildwood Bridge.
Oh.
Everybody came in over Wildwood. I remember seeing pictures, I don't have any, that it was concrete, the highway out to the courthouse, and there were these big slabs that had been lifted up, you know, many, many tons, and they were all at different angles. So, I mean, it was not like they stopped you from going out. You couldn't ride on that. Go ahead. Yeah. So they really got to work putting up a bulkhead. Go ahead. Yeah. I think this is a Life magazine picture. I'm not sure if it's Stone Harbor, but you know, moving the sand. Yeah. Here's that other bulkhead.
Well, that was maybe the first bulkhead.
Maybe that was the first bulkhead. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. There's one description in there where they talk about the storm did not come over any kind of dunes. It went under them.
Yeah.
It would come in, take a big chunk, pull that out, next top of it would drop, pull that out, and just kept 3 days of it, you know, did all that. Go ahead. Arbor Lane's still open. Isn't that great? Union Trust still open.
family.
Yeah, this is like a week after or something like that. You know, and in '62, things were open for, you know, for business. Go ahead. Just more destruction. Here's the Nautilus. Here it is in 45.
Remember that? Remember that? Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah, I love these. We used to come to 91st Street, and it was like, it looked like a ship. You know, it looked like it could go sail off there. Go ahead. Here's another picture of it.
Chateau.
And the chateau here. Interesting, nothing here. Look at the old cars. Okay, next. There's the Nautilus. Somebody's backyard. It's gone. It withstood the hurricane of 44, but not this. I think that might be the end. Go ahead. Is that the end? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm done. Your turn.
Well, I think with all due respect, Mary Costello, which name would you like? That's fine. Has something that she wrote she and Sherry Piccolo. And if you would read it, it's great. It's very appropriate to everything that we have said. And I think your voice will
Yes.
go far enough, right?
This is I'm combining the memories of two friends.
Can you hear okay?
I'm combining the memories of two friends, Sherry Piccolo, Hidalgo, and myself, Mary Conley, or Casella Conley. And in it, Sherry's brother is a prominent character.
And you contribute.
We know that.
Contributor to the story.
You made him blush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were both freshmen in high school at the time. My best friend Sherry went to Middle Township and I went to Wildwood Catholic. It was one day after my 15th birthday that the fun began. I lived in Stone Harbor and Sherry and Jim and her family lived in Stone Harbor Manor. The date was March 6, 1962, one day after my 15th birthday, also Shrove Tuesday and the day before Ash Wednesday. So those are our dates. I always went to the Piccolos to celebrate Shrove Tuesday, as was the custom with Mrs. Piccolo's family. She would make pancakes with cherry or lemon sauce for dinner, and it was a great treat for all of us. The setting of our story is in Stone Harbor Manor. From the Piccolo's home, you can see the coastal inland waterway looking south towards Wildwood, the basins of Stone Harbor directly east, and the creeks and marshes surrounding the manor everywhere else. At 4 o'clock, the water was totally covering the marshes and creeping up the road. The wind had started blowing hard enough that whitecaps were pushing the water to break and spray in the air. The forecast was for the water to rise 10 feet above the mean low water mark. Mrs. Piccolo fixed our special dinner while Sherry, her brother and father, Big Jim, began to secure the house. We put towels under the doorways and all the windows and moved what furniture we could to an upper level. They had a split level, which Jim has now. As was the custom, then during storms, we filled the bathtub with water along with every available jug and jar, and we hurriedly ate dinner. The phones worked long enough for me to call home and let my family know that I was spending the night, not that I could have gotten home anyway. Mrs. Piccolo was very concerned about the electrical appliances on the first floor, and sure enough, one of them caught fire. Big Jim got the situation under control, turned off all the electricity in the house. He secured the rest of the house as best he could and decided he needed to go north to the north end of Stone Harbor to help his mother and father. Sherry's grandparents, Anthony and Mary Piccolo, lived on 82nd Street and 3rd Avenue on the bay. They had large docks that housed about 14 slips for boat rentals. Is that correct? The bottom floor of the 3-story house was the garage and workshop for his boat business. When flooding occurred, Mr. Piccolo would go to their house and move their car and do what he could for their safety. He never made it back to us that night. The winds were too strong and the water had completely covered the land. All transportation was now cut off from Stone Harbor and the mainland. Meanwhile, back at the home, it was getting dark and there was no land to be seen. The water was now a few feet deep in the first floor of the tri-level home. As it got pitch black outside, we could see the fires burning in Wildwood. The fire departments were helpless due to the flooding. It was when the water reached the second step of the first floor that Mrs. Piccolo decided that we needed to get to higher ground. We packed dry clothes, shoes, whatever else we could carry, and put these in plastic bags that we had to carry ourselves. We know that Mrs. Piccolo packed food and water and a first aid kit. Sherry and I were both in a state of fear as we looked out the front door. Jim was probably excited. I don't know. I wasn't paying any attention to you. We were going to have to go out into the water and head across the street to a neighbor's that didn't have water up to their house. The distance was probably no more than 50 yards. It looked like 100 yards of doom. As we started, the water was only up to our knees, but as we stepped off the curb, the water was at our thighs and waist. We were being hit with debris and massive bodies of seaweed. I lost my footing and Sherry's brother Jim grabbed me as I was being swept away by the current. We linked arms and kept wading through the water as best we could. Thank you very much. We made it to the safety of the neighbors and spent a sleepless, anxious night watching the fires burn, the wind action, and more debris flow by. With every barrel that went by, Jim got more upset. He was sure that if he could rescue the barrels, he would be paid $50 for each. It was quite amazing that no water entered the house. The water appeared to be at the bottom of the picture window. The next day was bright and sunny with no wind action, but water everywhere. We watched as chairs, boats, lumber, docks, boxes, barrels, and every other kind of debris lodged around the houses, lampposts, and telephone poles. We hoped the stuff would stay in place so that we could rescue it when the water receded. We were able to wade back to the Pippolos later that day and start to replace the wet towels with dry ones and generally clean up their house. The first floor was still flooded. Big Jim was able to get home that day by wading from the north end of Stone Harbor and walking over what was left of the Stone Harbor Bridge. On the third day, the water receded enough to see the terrible mess that everyone had. There was a truckload of new lumber around the house, and Sherry's grandfather, Frank Lester, was ecstatic, thinking that he could use it to build a new dock. Do you remember that?
I do.
His dream was not to happen. This lumber was claimed by the city of Avalon. It was part of the reconstruction of the Avalon Bridge that had started before the storm occurred. The only gift that came from the storm was a duck boat that got lodged at the Piccolos. Jimmy tied it to the telephone pole, hoping no one would claim it, and no one did. He liked to duck hunt, and now he had his own boat. Keep in mind that we were virtually cut off from the mainland for 3 days. Our boyfriends were some of the first people to get through to us. They managed this by laying boards across the North Wildwood Road. You said you could come over from Wildwood, where it was washed out and driving a few feet at a time. The Stone Harbor Boulevard was out of use for many, many weeks before reconstruction began. Now, during these 3 days, I could not call my parents to let them know that I was safe, and little did they know of this adventure. I don't think I ever told them. My own home received very little damage when compared to the devastation that occurred to so many other homes. We had flooding in our cellar, and yes, we had a cellar here in Stone Harbor, and it took weeks to pump out the water. But both of us are in agreement that this experience was near the top of the list of any hair-raising experiences that have occurred to us. Respectfully submitted, Sherry and Mary.
There's one little touch that maybe fits in with what you're saying. Somewhere in this blue book, there's a message. Dorothy Garrison, who lived at 81st Street, was stuck in her house with 2 kids. And floating docks coming down the street and were banging into her house. When the water receded a little, Lewis Taylor of the Civil Defense Group led a caravan, including Bud Zakata's family, out over the Wildwood Bridge because the boulevard was closed. They went to a cabin in Cape May Courthouse where they ate very well, supplied by who Bud had brought all the food before. When they came back, it took them weeks to get into their house. So yeah, that's pretty much the same area.
Yeah.
So.
Jimmy, you wanna add anything?
Not really, I think Mary covered that
Yeah,
pretty
that's
well,
awesome.
but
I
I
never
remember the boulevard being just, I think it was like weeks.
Yeah,
before it was
weeks.
done.
Yeah.
You can only get out going to the south, you know?
I had to go to school out Wildwood, out North Wildwood.
I read an account somewhere where a school bus was coming in and the kids are looking out of the back and they're seeing the power lines
Yeah.
coming over behind them.
Go down.
Oh, really? I don't remember hearing
I don't
that.
Yeah, I don't even remember
I
exactly where I
remember
read
when
it.
they were working on it, you would be going to school or driving, and the road would be this high on one side and this
Yeah,
high on
well-
the other side, you know, because
Yeah.
they made the road so much higher than it had been. I remember that part.
And I know there are other people here that have stories, this is a tough one to
Follow.
follow, but you had to hear that.
Well, this
because-
was a personal
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
because we were, I mean, I was long time friends of them, and we do the Shrove Tuesday thing every year, and it was a big deal, you know, so I always went to their house for a long time. They lived on 97th Street, where I had grown up and lived, and then they moved out to the manor, so it was a very personal account of it, you know.
And the house is still there. Your
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
It's still there.
How many people do you think were on the island during the storm?
I don't know. Would you have a guess, Sue? I would know.
I think the population was close to 1,000 at that time.
Less than that.
Oh, no, I don't think there was 1,000 people in town then. Really?
I don't
No,
think so.
most of the people would have been at the firehouse during this, because I know.
Well,
my
yeah,
mom
there's
was
stories
working.
of there where they brought people to the firehouse, 80 one day and 150 the next.
I don't think there was
I
a
don't know what
thousand
the, I don't know what the census
I don't
was
think
here.
I don't think there was.
I always had this impression, it's like about 800 people lived on the
Yeah.
island,
At the most.
That sounds about right,
you
yeah.
know? Because there was only like 30 kids in the grade
Right,
school here,
right.
at the most.
Yeah,
I think I had 7 in my class.
yeah. I had 11,
You had 11, yeah.
Yeah. so,
Well, who else has stories?
And everybody had, it was 2 classes to a room,
right,
Right.
2 grades.
two grades to a room for one teacher.
Was there damage up around 108th and 109th and 110th where all the courthouses were?
I don't
think the
I
courts
don't
got,
think the courts did.
Because they were all small houses, they were fairly high,
But they were
way up.
Our house, nothing happened to our house, 101st Street. The ocean was bay met in the middle of the street, according to my husband.
yeah, the 103rd, we had about that much mark on the base of the house. You could see where the water had come up.
Well, Second Avenue's higher anyway than the
Yeah.
rest of
Right.
the island, so.
There's other people, I know there's a couple out there, go.
But,
Sue Mixer Sanford.
We lived on 92nd Street, 171 92nd Street, and the water came up to the first step. But that's all, but we were not ready, we didn't even know anything was going on, I was in high school, and, the water came and the water came and it kept coming and it kept coming and, we lost electric, and, so my dad put up a sheet or something, and we lit the fireplace because it was cold. It was cold in March. We did hot dogs over the fire, and he made a real picnic of it. But the next day, the Nautilus broke apart, which we didn't know at the time. Came down, hit this jetty at 92nd Street, and came right down our street. So we
Nautilus came down your street?
all pieces of it. We sat in the window and watched beds go by and refrigerators. You know, all of these, everything you see there floated right out to the bay. And that's what was left of it when it was done. But we
Interesting,
watched-
it went to the bay, not the ocean.
It hit the jetty and it turned on 92nd and came right in front of us. We just sat there for several hours and watched every single thing that was in the house go flying by us.
I wanted to ask about the cold, when you did make that walk, that 50-yard walk,
In the
how
water,
cold was the water?
I think I was so scared I don't even remember.
Okay, that's what you were
It was
saying
cold.
too.
I was,
You don't know.
I was
you know.
terrified.
We didn't even think about it.
And
It's
we were being hit by big clumps of
Pieces of stuff,
seaweed
yeah.
and seagrass and stuff, so we were being battered.
You could almost walk on it. I mean, it was like,
Yeah,
it was like,
it was
seemed like
like
it was
solid.
like feet thick
There
or
was so
something.
much.
you know?
You know, I mean,
Which could
truly,
trap you
if
too,
he
though.
had
Well,
not grabbed me.
Yeah, yeah.
We were not allowed out of town. Nobody was allowed out of
No,
town.
no,
The state troopers were at every entrance.
And nobody was allowed in unless
Nobody
you,
was allowed in, and you had to have, eventually you had to have your tax bill to get out. And I think on the 3rd or 4th or 5th day, maybe, we made it over to the Acme, which was next to McDonald's at the time.
Mhm.
And we got out of the car, and of course, we were covered in mud. We all had boots on and all that, and everybody in the Acme was looking at us like, where are these people from? Because I'm telling you, we looked like we were refugees, that we were. First time we were allowed out of town, you know?
We must have had to go to school the rest of the week.
We
It was
didn't-
3 days.
We didn't have,
So
I don't
we
remember.
didn't have
the-
I don't think I
Then there was
remember
the
school.
weekend.
I thought that
We
was,
didn't
I
have-
thought that part was great, but to follow Sue's story with it a little bit, my brother and I grew up on 134 87th Street. We really didn't tell our parents, but, the day after the storm, whatever you're talking about with the Nautilus, after the Nautilus disappeared, we walked to, First Avenue.
It said, don't go out of the house.
Right.
My mother was right there with you with a camera.
Well, I snuck out. And my brother and I looked down First Avenue to where 83rd Street is. And the ocean, there used to be dunes, just like Avalon has, at 83rd Street. So whenever you would go to the beach, you'd look that way and you could see the dunes. The first thing that we noticed was the ocean is coming down First Avenue, and it was about at, let's see, we're at 87. About 85th Street, and we were both like shocked, but that one didn't scare us enough. So we walked toward 89th Street, and that's where we saw small stuff from the Nautilus. Because we saw the bathtub, we saw this, we saw that, and then we looked at the ocean, and it was gone.
Yeah.
Gone. But you must have got more stuff than we did, but we both walked around and said, this is from the Nautilus.
Yeah. It
We
was,
went,
it
we
was
went
a,
home and didn't tell our parents.
it was a continuous, for
Yeah.
like a half an hour, it was just
Yeah.
continuous
Yep.
debris.
And when we walked out of the house and we looked at the ocean, which was breaking over the first row of the houses, and as it receded, there was other days that we snuck out. There was houses just floating down in the water, floating.
How long before you went back to school?
I forget.
We had 3
long
days
time.
out of school
Yeah,
as
at
far
least.
as I,
Yeah.
And there's a
yeah, and then the rest, then it was weekends, so.
I think it was a
Did
lot.
this school open up on the next day?
I-
The next
I
month?
only know.
We didn't have this one, we had the old school.
Yeah, the old,
Yeah.
we had the
Big tall
concrete
school.
school.
62, this was in.
That's,
This was built in
But the
57,
other one was
right?
still there.
the other
Oh,
one's
that's-
still
Oh, the
there
other one's
behind it.
still
The
there?
old one was there,
Yeah,
while the other one was built.
Yeah.
Because that ended up
Well, we
being.
would have been in high school.
yeah, we were.
Yeah,
We're in
okay,
high
then that
school.
wasn't.
So I
Was there
would've been-
damage in the courthouse?
Pardon?
Was there any damage in the courthouse?
No, it's funny and beautiful.
I didn't go out there for weeks. You were lucky.
Who else has
Come
been
on,
there?
some more stories. There's other people I know that were here that.
The only, you said something of the size of the storm. Well, this doesn't relate to Stone Harbor. Marley and I were in St. Petersburg, visiting her father. And my brother-in-law said, you better get back up here. I said, why, what's the matter? He lived at 19th and Central in North Wildwood. He said, I have 2-foot waves in front of my house.
Like, were you gonna supposed to stop the waves?
So I told Marlene, I said, look, we're going to go to see her mother in Miami. I said, you go ahead, drive over there. We had Stephen, and you were pregnant
Robin.
with Robin.
Yeah, Robin came too. She- yeah.
I flew home, and my boss saw me getting mud out of the Dairy Queen we had in Spruce Avenue. He said, you better get in the courthouse, we need you. Then a helicopter came, picked 7 of us. I was left us in Sea Isle, and we didn't get out of there for 4 days.
What were
But
you
then
doing?
when Marlene, what I'm getting at, when Marlene drove over to Miami, tell her what happened at the street ends there, how the wave
At
were.
79th Street, where I was gonna go with the causeway, you couldn't get through that causeway. I had to go down 163rd Street and got in, and the waves were all along the beach and all the chaise lounges and everything was all blown.
This is in Miami?
Yeah, they got the tail end of whatever we had.
Whatever we got.
It was bad
Yeah,
over there
It was that
too.
big.
That's how big it was.
Yeah.
Sea Isle, I think, was worse than Stone
The
Harbor.
thing I read was that there was a storm coming from the west, and then there was this one coming, and they came
They
together
merged. Yeah.
and sort of got stuck for the 3 days before they cleared out. So, anybody else? Maybe that's it. You got anything more to add?
No,
There she is.
we're all lucky.
Oh, let me introduce you. We're going to stand up and say hello. This is Taylor Cavanaugh, who is our Archivist, no, you had a different word. Curator, she's our curator. And is making order of all of the stuff that we have here.
Yeah.
So, if you come in, welcome back. That's it.
Thank you.
Since that history way back in time. I've only been here 30 years, but there's been a few small hurricanes that we've always avoided.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Wasn't our.
It's a bubble.
Wasn't our day.
You think it's just not our day? You sure it's not the contour of the coast that we always are successful in missing it?
No, I think it is.
I think it is. Some kind of vortex.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a good question for meteorologists to answer. And I don't know. I mean, we're too north for hurricane generally.
Right.
It's the rare one that comes in. But the nor'easters, and I think this was just a perfect storm of a whole bunch of things coming together, you know, because the meteorologists missed it too. Yeah. Sort of like that 93, The Perfect Storm? The book, you read that or seen the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty scary thing.
What was the following summer like?
They were building the bulkhead, right? I mean, they.
Yeah.
they
There
started-
Was there much
I don't remember it being much different.
No.
Because it was just the first row, it was just that.
I remember coming down here and it was a great summer.
Cleanup was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They got the stuff out of
A lot of the visitors want to see the damage.
Yes.
The second property owners. Someone has their.
How'd they get the stuff out of the bay that washed into the bay?
How they wash. Stuff that washed into the bay.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
refrigerators or whatever.
Yeah, it was all over the
I know the AKA, the convention hall, used to dance there, and that blew, of course, blew down, and they found the telephone for Hoover Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a telephone or over feet.
That's where it washed up.
Okay.
Or somewhere in there.
Any other questions? I mean, aside from people sharing, questions on this? Yes, Robin?
I just have one question. During the presentation that you gave, and you said 17 regarding Stone Harbor, did you mean 17 homes were destroyed?
17 homes were destroyed. One thing says 16, but I've seen both numbers. So I just picked that up. Then we have, again, in the book here, there's a list of those homes and what street they were, what number they were. So you can look that up if you want to see that.
From some of those pictures, that looks like a low number.
Thank you.
When you
Yes.
think about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the number I keep coming up with.
That Bell
Yeah.
Casino on the beach was destroyed, the homes was destroyed, the house on 101st, the beach where, was this, I mean, I can think of
Yeah.
half a dozen, and these pictures have shown at least a dozen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That sounds low.
Looks like a low number.
I mean, my grandparents were, nothing happened, their house didn't get destroyed, but obviously, they didn't go around and look.
Right.
Because they said.
Yeah, wrap it up. Okay. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that.